Ethereum 8K.
And I'm out.
Right, guys, today we are going to be taking a cheeky look at Ethereum, and specifically we're going to be talking about how we think Ethereum is going to be going all the way up to $8,000. And then, of course, Chris, what does that mean?
It means I am out.
It means Chris is out. So this is something that we've been talking about pretty much since the birth of the channel, that Ethereum is going to do naturally very well, but there is a bit of an upper limit to this thing. And we are seeing this somewhere between $8,000 and $10,000. So Chris is basically, as soon as it hits 8,000, he is out of Ethereum. So we're going to get into the charts and just see what's going on here. We'll take a look at some of those top level predictions and see how I've manipulated the data to see if I can get it any higher than that $10,000 that some of the people are talking about. So as we get into this, guys, if you do find this video useful and informative, hit that like button. We both really do appreciate it. And of course, if you're new to the channel and you want to stay up to date with those new cryptocurrencies and hidden gems, then why not consider subscribing to the channel? By becoming a subscriber, you'll be kept up to date with everything we do here. It is free. You'll stay well informed. So why not? And with that said and done, Chris, anything you would like to add before we jump on down to the desktop and start covering Ethereum?
Well, I mean, there are some obscene numbers being bandied about, but do let me know, what's your number for Ethereum? Where do you see it going? Really interested to know what your views and opinions are.
Fantastic. Right, let's just jump straight down to the charts and start talking about what's going on here.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so guys, this is Ethereum to the USDT daily chart. Binance is that data source. Here's that Fibonacci that we've been running here since the low of the 27th of October through to the high that was actually achieved up here on the 20th of February. And, we've seen that first price target come in at $3,000. This is when we started to think that the alts would potentially start, getting some traction. And they have been doing well since Ethereum did get to this level. But, recently they're still coupled to Bitcoin. So Bitcoin pullback most recently has affected many of those altcoins as well. So we're still looking for that decoupling event. Which will obviously trigger the massive kind of blow off for these altcoins to go parabolic, right? That has not happened yet. They are still very much coupled to Bitcoin at this point. With that being said, though, Ethereum has started to kind of decouple a little bit, and usually this happens where money flows out of Bitcoin, it flows into Ethereum, and Ethereum starts to go off pretty well, and then obviously from Ethereum it rolls out and goes into those altcoins, and that's obviously where you're starting to see that decoupling happen. Okay, but this particular Fibonacci retracement tool has those extensions enabled, right? So this is the 1.618 area here. This is the first price target that came in at $3,079. Right? And right now it's trading at about 3,376. It's doing well. And it is, second price target comes in here at 4,749. That will be followed by 6,419. The top of this Fibonacci, though, Chris, actually only comes in at $7,451. So significantly lower than, well, not significantly, but a little bit lower than that $8,000 kind of level that you were thinking. And that's 121% from the current position here for Ethereum. Now, that's what this particular Fibonacci is topping out at. Okay, and I did turn and take this a little bit further, and I was like, okay, well, what can I do? How can I get this thing any higher? Well, I have managed to do this one. This one here shows us some additional levels, and this actually runs again from that low point that we had over here, which we can see from over here. So we had that low point at $386, and then they're topped out actually at this point over here, right? So when we had this previous high over on the 16th of April, I took that, right? So I run it from the level at the bottom and just put it up to the top bit there. That came in at $2,549. Now, with a low at 389 and a high at 2,549, that actually then gives us a first price target here coming in at $3,887, followed by $6,000.53, okay, followed by $8,200, Chris, and that's probably the price target that was really in your mind, right, between that 8,000 and 10,000, and that's firmly here within that 3.618 area and that 4.236 area, right, and basically you end up with an $8,219 price target and a topping out at $9,558. Okay, now obviously that means that we're riding this thing a little bit higher, and we're using the real low point there and we're using the high point up there in order to manipulate the data into showing us this kind of thing. But this is something that we've been talking about for a while. $8,000 was kind of that price target that's been in our minds, and where we were thinking, that's the good point to potentially be selling for ourselves. And obviously, this top of this extension from the data in this Fibonacci is saying actually you might actually only end up at around 7,500. So Chris will have to make that call later down the line, as to where he wants to potentially hold on and hodl and to see if he can get to that 8,000, or whether or not actually selling a little bit short is going to be okay for his needs and whatever his objectives are. Of course, you can go further, and I have done that over here. Okay, so this, I took the previous all-time high, I think it was, over here. Oh, actually, I run several different scenarios, as you can see, trying to manipulate the data to try to find the right point. But if we take the previous all-time high, and then we set this red area of the Fibonacci to that area there, and we take the lowest point that Ethereum had been, which was 77.46, and then actually plot this out. This actually then gives us some interesting price targets, right? That first price target, Chris, comes in at $9,805. That will be followed up by a $15,817 price target. That will be then followed by the $21,830 price target. And then at the absolute top, the absolute maximum I can manipulate this data shows me $25,545. So still a pretty juicy target, but I mean, that's like best case scenarios I could see within this data. You're talking about $25,000. But I'm pretty confident, Chris, and I'm not sure if you align to this, but when Ethereum kind of gets to about $10,000, it's going to grind to a bit of a halt. It's not going to be very usable. The gas fees the way that they are today. Now, I know they are looking to implement solutions. How quickly those solutions get implemented will be absolutely key as to whether or not it's going to be able to develop and push on further ahead. Because it is those solutions that are being spoken about in terms of gas fees and scalability and all that kind of good stuff, that is the only way that Ethereum is really going to be able to get any traction, in my opinion, to push past those levels. Otherwise, all those use cases that Ethereum has will kind of just become non-existent, because ultimately no one's going to be able to utilize the system. So really interesting to see how it all plays out, specifically with all those recent moves that they're making to reduce gas fees, Ethereum 2.0, all of that kind of stuff, and scalability will make a huge difference as to where the price of Ether actually finally sits. But Chris, what's your thoughts on all of this?
Well, I align to some of what you're saying, in the respect that there's got to be a point where it just it grinds to a bit of a halt. But with that said, I mean, if you haven't checked out our interview with 𝗕𝗪𝗔𝗥𝗘 from 𝗕𝗘𝗪, there were some really good points made around Ethereum and the fact that it's not actually easy to use. And when you're talking about people coming into the space and adoption and stuff like that, I think there's going to be some people that do really well on ETH, but they're going to be the people that were invested in ETH and have been in the space for a while. So a lot of people are holding ETH, they're not really utilizing it that much, and I think there's opportunity for others that don't have the scaling issues that Ethereum have. So I agree with that. I think it's potentially not going to get the adoption like some of the other projects in the space. I completely align with that. 8K and I'm out. We've been talking about this since October. It's just that's my position on it. Like, I'm not a big fan of ETH. We weren't invited to the ETH party, so I'm really disappointed that seeing the price discovery that we're seeing. But I do have some ETH, so it's one of those.
Absolutely.
Can't be too sad.
you can't, but we were not invited to the ETH party, and a lot of these influencers unfortunately were invited, and they were able to pick up some juicy free bags of Ethereum for their labor, right? They'll be paid in Ethereum, and they'll be, let's just say it, inclined to push the price of Ethereum up, right?
And I would say that there are good actors and there's bad actors in the space, so you do have to be careful. But with that said, we we did explain to people that, are new in the space that, Bitcoin goes first. We then start to see Ethereum go. And I think that's the point in this bull market or cycle. The point at where we're at now, right? We're seeing Bitcoin below 50% of the total market. We're seeing ETH, I think that's above 17% currently, roughly, from when I looked earlier today. So we're starting to see ETH increase, Bitcoin decrease, and we all know what we said was going to happen after ETH goes, and that will be the alts. So yeah, super cycle, really excited. For me, it's part and parcel what we're seeing with ETH, but I do expect it to go to 8K.
Fantastic. Guys, if you found this useful, informative, maybe even entertaining at times, hit the like button. We both really do appreciate it. And of course, if you're new to the channel and you want to stay up to date with everything we do here, those new cryptocurrencies, those hidden gems, then do consider subscribing to the channel. By subscribing, you'll be kept up to date with everything we do here. It is free. You'll stay well informed, so why not? And with that said and done, we hope you have a fantastic day, guys, and we'll catch you all in the next one.
Yeah, take care.